Hello, everybody. This is Myron J, the coach, and this is the Myron J Show. Topic Tuesday, second Tuesday of the week, and second episode on the first season of Topic Tuesday. So last week we talked about why I quit my job. So make sure y'all go back and check that out. You're gonna love it. Hopefully, it's some kind of inspiration to you guys concerning quitting your job or the work world or whatever God has put into you that you're very passionate about. So make sure you go check that episode out, share with your family and friends, and just let me know what you think. Leave a comment. You can also check it out on YouTube as well. I put the link in the bio or the description, so make sure you go check that out. So today, I want to discuss Married, Divorced, but God. That is the book that I wrote and published on March the 26th of 2021, which is earlier this year. And so just to give y'all a backstory about myself and the reason I wrote the book, I've been married for 3 years, and I've been divorced for 4 years now. And we were together for 7. We have a beautiful, beautiful daughter together. Her name is Morgan, and she has a son named Jaden. Jaden is older than Morgan. Of course, he's 15 and Morgan is 10. But at the end of the day, like I always tell people, that's still my son. I still love him. I'm the only dad that he knows, and I check in on him, see how he's doing. I try to stay on him every now and then when it comes to sports, come to school, and just making sure, just all around, just make sure he's good. I always talk to him and let him know that I'm there for him. If he needs to talk, if he need anything, he want to come and stay with me, he need me to come and pick him up, whatever it may be, I let him know that I'm still there for him no matter what. And I always tell him that I love him whenever we get out the phone or off of FaceTime or if we're texting. And so, and again, we do have a daughter together. So I met her at a kickback, I guess y'all young people say. I met her at a kickback years ago, and we just started conversing and just got to know each other a little bit better. One of the reasons why I ended up marrying her, because I always wanted a big family. I want a family in general because she came from a two-family household, and I came from a two-parent household. And so, and I have a very big family. So I wanted my own family. I wanted to do what was right in God's eyes. And at the time, I was probably like a little bit over 30, and I just felt like, man, this is the time to get married, time to sit down and do some grown man stuff. I want to just do what was best in God's eyes, do what was right in God's eyes, I guess you could say. And so we ended up getting married. The relationship was very toxic in the beginning and all through the whole relationship. It was very toxic. So many red flags from both ends. She's about 3 to 4 years younger than me. And so she had a lot of growing to do. And of course I did too. I never put everything completely on her when it comes to the relationship, when it comes to the marriage. And I take full accountability and responsibility for the things that I've said and the things that I've done during our relationship and our marriage. So I want to create this episode to just get into that and just to talk about it. And because I know some people are going through the same thing that I've gone through or experiencing it right now or have experienced it. And so just to fast forward a little bit, during the divorce time frame of it, I didn't want to file for a divorce. I want my marriage to work out, but at the same time, it was so much stuff happening during that time of our marriage. So many red flags, again, like I stated earlier, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and it was so consistent. We separated at least 3 times for at least like 3 to 5 months each. In those 3 years of us being married, we never stayed married, or I say stayed in the same household just one time or just 1 year for a whole year. It was always something. And so I ended up writing the book. And one of the things that brought me to the divorce is I ended up going to jail. I had to serve like a week in jail. And if you've never been to jail before, you've never been in any trouble, a week in jail can seem real long. You know, time goes by slow when you're locked up in that cell. But it wasn't, my first night going was due to us having a real big argument. And that was the second time she called the police on me, pretty much for nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you. We were just arguing. arguing, getting into it a lot. I threw some things, and but never have I threatened her to stay, or if she was to leave, I'll do X, Y, and Z. I never done that at all. She pretty much either left her own or had the opportunity to leave her own. It was totally up to her at the end of the day. But it was just a toxic relationship. I got tired of the kids experiencing the things that we had going on. And like I tell people all the time, especially on social media, divorce is not bad. What bad is staying in a toxic relationship or marriage that no longer serves you in the purpose, that you don't have any peace, and that you're not happy, and that you're miserable, you're walking on eggshells. That's the terrible part of it. And definitely when you have kids involved, kids seeing the wrong way to grow up. They're seeing the wrong way to love or not to love, for that matter. And I just got tired of the kids seeing that. So my last straw was the whole jail experience for me. And God sent me so many signs along the way and over the years, so many signs, y'all. And don't get me wrong, I prayed for my marriage. I didn't go to counseling, just skip a little bit. I didn't go to counseling because mentally I wasn't ready for it. Mentally I didn't want to go. She suggested that I go to counseling, but it seemed like she was just suggesting that I go to counseling for myself and not her. And if I would have done that, it would have served no purpose. We would have still been arguing, because it's like I would have been seeking counseling, but then going right back into another toxic relationship. I would have been going right back to a toxic marriage, and that would have been, we would have to both go separately but together. So we didn't do the whole counseling thing. And so moving forward, I just wanted to be happy at the end of the day. I wanted to be at peace. And so that whole jail experience, when they took me to jail, I got in front of the judge. He gave me like $70,000 bond. Like 70,000, And one of the most painful thing that hurt me was for my mom and dad to see me in a brown jumpsuit, handcuffed from my hands all the way down to my feet, like I committed a murder or something. No offense to nobody. And it was just sad. It really hurt me. And I know it hurt them, And so I ended up filing for when I got out. I didn't file for a divorce right then. It was in October 2016, so I didn't file for a divorce right then. I pretty much waited for maybe like 2 months because we had another court date coming up. And the judge that we had at the time, like, he really wanted to give me some time. So I just ended up pleading guilty, because I ended up having to go to, they really arrested me before contempt of court. I didn't even know anything about that I had a court date. It was because one of them times she had pressed charges on me, I never got the date, the court date. So I really didn't know about that court date. So that's how I ended up going to jail when they came to pick me up. I had a warrant out for my arrest. And so, but anyway, so the judge, I just feel like the judge really wanted to give me as much time as he can, 6 months to a year. So I'm knowing that, and I had a white judge, just to let you guys know, but I'm knowing that I wasn't probably going to beat this case, not even if I wanted to. So I didn't even try to fight it, y'all, because I didn't want to take no chance of being found guilty and have to serve 3 months in jail, 6 months in jail, because my whole thing is I have kids, her son and my daughter. I have kids. If I'm in jail, how am I going to take care of my kids? How am I going to pay the mortgage and pay the bill? Because I'll pay a majority of the bills, if not all at times. So how was I going to do that? Everything that I worked hard for as being a DJ, I built my career off DJing, energizing entertainment, doing events. I had weddings and stuff coming up. My degrees that I have, the reputation that I have in my hometown, and just with people in general, like I was literally looking at losing it all, even my mind, if that would have happened. So I just, to avoid all that, I just went ahead on and pled guilty. I spent about 6 months going to a class in Pearl, Mississippi. Every Wednesday, I had to pay $25 every Wednesday for 6 months to go to a class. I had to pay a fine, $400 some fine. I had to go get an ankle monitor for like a month, at least until my next court date, the time that I did go to court. Had to wear an ankle monitor. I'm DJing weddings, going to the gym, going to church, and everything with an ankle monitor on, And so had to pay for that. Had to pay for a lawyer, And so I was out of so much money, and which that money was coming out of my household, coming out of my pocket, and for that could have went to our family, could have been to take care of our daughter, our son, or whatever. So it was just a hard, tough time for me, and that's a situation that I don't ever want to like go through ever again. And so I never, and as you grow, you learn from your mistakes. I could have done things a little differently. I could have said things a little differently. I could have moved a little differently. It could have been more understanding, but it was kind of hard to be understanding. It was kind of hard to look at life differently. And I've had people over time ask me, well, what would you have done differently? It's like, I don't really know, because I really wasn't given an example of what I could have done differently, because she wasn't giving me what I needed as a man and as a husband. Everything was pretty much on me. The showing affection, showing love, the attention, intimacy, communication, that type of deal. All of that was on me. I felt like if I didn't do that, it would not be done. Like, she could literally go a whole day without talking to me, or be in the house with me for 5 or 6 hours on end, and she would literally be okay without saying anything to me at all. And I'm not that kind of person. Like, my whole personality is very different. I'm a very sociable person. I get that from my mom. But at the same time, I'm laid back, I'm observant, I'm cool, I'm chilled, and I get that side from my dad, God rest his soul. And so we just had two different personalities going on at the time. But I also felt like a lot of things that she was going through was way bigger than me, way bigger than what we had going on. I feel like she had something that's going on outside of that, which we all do at times. She was young, and I guess age don't really mean nothing at the same time. It's all about your mindset and your maturity level, and how you feel about life in certain situations, and your experience and the things that you go through in life. So went through the divorce deal. I filed for divorce on December the 27th, the day before my birthday. My birthday is on December 28th. And I didn't have no hesitation. I wasn't nervous at all, maybe just a little bit, but it was nothing that was going to stop me. It was at the point where I had to do what I needed to do, not what I wanted to. I needed to file for divorce. I needed to get away from this situation, because if not, and like I told her, somebody gonna end up in jail, dead, or in the hospital or something. And I have already ended up in jail, so everything else I don't think that else would have been left was the hospital, and which she been to the hospital before. I've been to the hospital before for minor bruises, and would have been death. I don't want to die, not that way and not in that moment. So I just left the whole situation alone. And so that just to give you guys a little gist of what the marriage and the relationship was like during that time. And so I never wanted to write a book. I never thought about being an author. I didn't even think nothing about it. I was like, man, and the funny thing about life, fun thing about God is that you never know what you're going to do. You never know where you're going to be in the next 2 months, 3 months, a year, 5 years from. You just never know where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing. And so the theme Married, Divorced with God came across, was put in my spirit maybe like a year or so, if not sooner, after my marriage. But I told God, I don't want to write this book until I'm healed, until I'm better emotionally and mentally or spiritually. I just want to be better. I want to be able to write this book without tearing up, without getting mad, without getting angry. Because even though that would have been good in a sense to put some passion and emotion in, but I just didn't want to like relive it that way. And so even though I've talked about my situation about my ex-wife with several other people in the past, there's a whole different feeling when you write it down. When you see it on paper, it's a whole different feeling. And so July of 2020, I started writing my book. I kid you guys not, and I always say I'm gonna tell this to the masses, but I kid you guys not. I sat there and wrote my book. I was laying down one night. I was asleep. It was bedtime, all that good stuff. I kid you guys not. At 3 a.m, God spoke to me and said, "Write your book." And it was like, man, it was just as clear as day. He told me to write your book. So I got up, grabbed my laptop, and I started writing my book. I started getting it typed up. I wrote like 5 pages that morning. And I had to go to work the next day. So I stayed up like 3-4 hours writing 5 pages. Like I was just getting it, just typing, you know. And so a few days later, almost a week later, that same voice came to me. But by that time, I was like, man, it's 3 something in the morning. I'm sleepy, I'm tired, I get some rest, you know. But I got up and wrote that book and started back on my book. That same voice came to me. I got up and started back on my book. And that's when I knew it was time, y'all. That's when I knew it was time, because I told God, I said, I don't want to write this book until I'm ready. But that's when I knew it was time to write that book, when he had spoke to me. So I got up that same night, wrote 5 pages. And then after that, every other week or 2 weeks, I ended up writing more. And every time I pulled my laptop out, I was writing like 3 to 5 pages. You know, and so I could have been gotten it done in a certain time frame, but I would take my time. I'll write about 4 or 5 pages, and I'll take a whole week or 2 off, and then I'll come back to it. And so I finally got to the point where I sat at this desk that I'm sitting at right now, if you're watching on YouTube. I sat at this desk, and I was sitting here watching football, and I sat at this desk for 10 hours and wrote about 10 pages. It looked like I wrote 10 pages, a page per hour, but I really wrote at least like 2 pages every other hour, something like that. I don't think I did was got up, used the bathroom, I cooked, I ate, took my dog out, and I was watching football. I'm a Saints fan, so I was watching the Saints game and other sports on TV. So I was just watching TV all the time, and I just sat there and just finished it. And I got it done. Didn't know that if I was going to finish that day, but at some point, I guess after a while, I was determined to get it done. And so I finished my book. I didn't give it to my editor at the time, or my publisher. Shout out to Tyra Stevenson of Stevenson Publishing Company. But I didn't finish it at the time because I was going back and forth to add something to the book. I'll sit there or lay there, or I'm driving, or whatever situation may be, and I was, oh man, let me put this in here. Or let me go back and change that. That ain't really how it happened, or it happened another kind of way. It's out of order. So I went back and I was making some minor adjustments here and there, adding some stuff, taking some stuff away. So I finally gave it to Tyra Stevenson and told her I was ready to write the book and get it done and get everything moving. And she was more than happy to assist me and to get my book started, getting everything going. So I was really happy to give it over to her. So she took about 2 or 3 months to get it done or whatever, because she had other projects going on at the time, because she's a very, very busy lady. But I trusted her. I was patient. I was calm. I wasn't rushing her at all. Hey, when you get to it, just let me know. You know, I'll make the payments or go ahead on and pay the money for it. And she was very good. Like, she was communicating with me every week, every 2 weeks or so. Email, phone call, text, Zoom, whatever you can think of, she did it, and I really appreciate her for that. She's from Jackson, Mississippi, so I really appreciate her for that and for helping me out with this book, with this project. This was my first book, so it's very dear to me, to be honest with you. But it was just one of those things that I just never thought that I'd do. I never thought I'd write a book. I encourage anybody to tell their story. Somebody out there needs to know your story. You can literally be out here helping someone if you just tell your story. Everybody's story is different. It may sound like that you have went through the same thing that I've gone through, but your story is different than mine. Something in your story and your life is way different from mine. And if you want to write your own book, be patient with yourself. Be patient with the people that you're going to help. Find someone that you can really, really trust, and just make sure that you get it done. If you need some help, or you got any questions concerning your book, if you want to get started, what to look for, the do's and don'ts, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you, because I want to make sure everybody is being treated fairly and get the job done. So anyway, I got the book done, and then I ended up getting with my friend Quali with CPR. I forgot her company, CPR, Who Needs CPR, and consulting company. And so she came up with the graphics for my book. And at the end of this show, or if you check the description or the bio, You'll see where I got the book from. It's on Amazon.com. You'll see where I got the book from. And if you want to go and purchase and buy it, it's a very great book. So she helped me out with that part of it. Then I got with Marketable Essentials. She did my website, MyronJTheCoach.com. She did my website for me. And she added the book to my website. Of course, it's on my Instagram page on MyronJTheCoach as well. So I just worked with a different team of people. I worked with 3 different young ladies on this project, and I really appreciate all of them because they served a big part of my journey with writing this book. So I'm hoping that, the book came out March 26th of 2021. But just in case I know, because I had this question asked before, I had people ask me what did my ex-wife think about it. I don't 100% know, let alone know if she read the book or not. But I did tell her the day before I dropped my book. I FaceTimed her and told her, the day of, I FaceTimed her and told her, I said, hey, I wrote a book. This all due to my life coaching. I got to be transparent with the people because I'm a private person. I don't want nobody knowing my business and what I've done or what she's done or anything. And she like chuckled a little bit. And she was like, well, as long as you ain't dragging me in it or whatever. But I'm like, no, you the mother of my child. I'm not going to drag you in my book or anything of that nature. But at the same time, y'all, this coming from somebody that got on Facebook in 2018, the day that I dropped that I was opening up Dapper 955, my men's clothing company, and the day that I it was a year that I moved to Texas, got on Facebook, made a whole Facebook status about me and our situation in our past. So I don't feel bad for putting the book out there. Not saying it was to get back at her or anything like that, because I had already had plans on putting this book out. I just wanted to make sure that people got a chance to read this book, got a chance to know my story. It wasn't to like prove a point or anything at all. It wasn't to drag anybody or make her look bad or anything of that nature. It was all about saving somebody else's life. If you're married, going through a divorce, if you're divorced, if you're thinking about getting married, if you're single, this book is perfect for you. You're going to learn so much in that book. I've had so many great reviews. I have like 43, maybe 44 reviews on Amazon right now. So, and a lot of people has been reaching out to me via text message, email, messaging me on social media, telling me how much they like the book. I've had people tell me they actually cried because they felt like I was telling their story. So I just, you know what, y'all, it wasn't about the sales. It wasn't about any profits or anything of that nature. I just wanted to help somebody. I just did what God asked me to do, what God wanted me to do, because I really didn't want to write a book. I didn't think that I could sit down here and write a book that long or put anything of that nature together. But I did it. And the day that it dropped, I'm telling y'all now, y'all can laugh if you want, but I'm telling y'all now, I literally cried. And I said, God, I did it. You know, and I got big plans for the book. I wanted to go further. I wanted to get into the right hands. I wish it could be a movie or some kind of show or something. I just really want someone to read my book, the right person to read my book, or persons rather, to read my book and just invite me out to speak to a mass number of people concerning my book. Because I talk about forgiveness in my book, red flags, peace, and everything, all that good stuff in there. The book is really good. I'm not just saying it. It's really good, very transparent, and it's coming from a man's perspective. I know a lot of times in these situations you hear women talking about their side of things, but I'm actually telling my side of things, and I feel good about it. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to write another book somewhere similar to this one, but I am working on an ebook called How to Become a Life Coach. It's going to teach people the do's and don'ts of becoming a life coach, what they need, how they need to get started, the documents they're going to need, how to promote themselves on social media, the fees they need to charge. They talk about website. It's going to talk about customer service. So I am working on that project. So hopefully they'll be out maybe in September, no later than November. But as far as writing a book such as this one, I am not exactly 100% sure if I'm going to do that. But like I stated earlier, who knows? I don't know what God may have planned for me for the future, but if he want me to write another book and he put it on my heart to do, I'm going to do it. That's one thing I am. I'm very obedient when it comes to doing what God wants me to do. When it comes to just being in the right place at the right time. And I believe that timing is everything, to be honest with you. So if you are going through, and let me say this real quick, when you read this book and or watching, if you just listen to my voice or watching me on YouTube, I'm not telling anyone to leave their marriage or their relationship. I'm telling you to do what's best for you. That's my end advice for a lot of people in a lot of situations. Do what's best for you. Do what makes you happy. My dad used to always tell me to always be happy. Life is too short not to be happy. God rest his soul. My dad used to always tell me that, to be happy. So I just want you guys to be happy. But let me share this with you guys real quick. My dad passed on May 2020 due to cancer. And so when I look back at my life and when I was in that jail situation, my mom and dad, they always there for their kids and grandkids since we was like kids coming up. Like they always been there. They did like the greatest parents ever, and they was always supportive. And so and we have a great family. Like nobody in our family just really was out here doing wrong, all in the streets doing drugs and just fighting or anything of that nature. Nothing like that. We had a great reputation in our hometown of Canton, Mississippi, if I had to say so myself. But you know, teach his own. Somebody might think differently. But the one thing that means so much to me now that my dad passed is that when he came to the jail, they had to bring me a couple of items to my jail cell. Well, to the front porch. I was in the misdemeanor area place, and it was a place where I can actually come up the hallway and get whatever items that they had for me once they came to the front. And so I remember shaking my dad's hand. My dad didn't really want to it felt like he really didn't want to let my hand go or whatever at the time. And so now that he has passed, that moment means more to me now than it did back then. Because now, of course, when someone passed, you wish they were still here. You wish you would have never let go, that type of deal. So it was a hard thing to happen to me and my family, of course. But God rest his soul, I learned so much from that man. And he was there through thick and thin. He was there through the whole divorce situation, him and my mom, the whole jail situation. They was there no matter what. And so they still loved me at the end of the day. Of course, I'm their child, right? They're supposed to love me, right? So they still love me at the end of the day. They were still there for me. Shout out to my sisters, all my sisters, and my brother. They was there as well, helping me to get out of that place, man. But I've learned my lesson. I'm just looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to what God has for me. And I just pray that whoever reads this book, man, I just hope that it does something to you. I hope it sparks a fire or ignites a fire inside of you to want to do better and to want more for yourself, to take care of yourself and to have self-care, self-love. Love yourself no matter what. Take care of yourself no matter what. And when you get out of a toxic relationship, a toxic marriage, please, 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 and I'm all about this, go and get therapy. Go and get some counseling and try to heal first before you get into another marriage or another situation or another relationship. I've in the year 2021, I went to counseling. I did therapy myself for about I'm gonna say about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months. I did counseling. I did therapy myself. So I just want to advise you guys, man, to go and get counseling, go and get therapy. Don't go into another situation or relationship damaged, because you don't want to damage the person that's free or that's at peace with themselves, because you don't know what they have gone through. So I would definitely suggest and advise you guys to take care of yourself, take care of your mental before you jump into another relationship or jump into another marriage. But thank you guys so much for checking out Topic Tuesday. I am Myron J, the coach, and this is the Myron J Show. We will have another episode next Tuesday at 11 a.m. So make sure y'all tune in. If y'all guys got any questions, hit me up. at info@myronjthecoach.com. Get my book, y'all, Married, Divorced, But God. Thank y'all.